Welcome back. So it's been a little while since the last video, but I've been making all kinds of monsters and stuff. Let's see behind me. I've done a run of these guys, but anyway, so today we're going to be back to the Build the Ecto 1 from Ghostbusters, and this is going to be pack 3, which is parts 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to be, it's all engine all the time with this one, and maybe a little bit in the next one too. But anyway, let's get going. Alright, so we have the magazine, we have all of our parts, we have a bunch of screws, and let me get this organized and we will start seeing what we can do with it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is assemble the timing belt cover, and that is this piece made of metal. This is also metal, and we're going to attach this little clip to the back here with a couple of EM screws. Now, since it says M at the end, I'm dipping the screw into a little bit of 3-in-1 oil, and that will assist my shaky hands in screwing all this together. And that's the second one going in. Now, we're going to take this piece, which is going to have this going into these two holes, and it lines up with this pin in the back. This piece being plastic, it's going to use AP screws. P is for plastic. If the thing has M at the end, it's going into metal. Let's try that again. Alright, and here is screw number 2. Alright, and then we're going to be taking this and attaching this to the front of the engine block that we started last time, and that is going to have a DM screw which is going in here. Again, since it has an M, it means it's going into metal, which means the 3-in-1 oil will give you a bit of an assist. Alright, that's it for that part. Alright, next thing we're going to be doing is putting the distributor cap in. There is kind of a keyhole pattern on the end of this. There's also a keyhole pattern in the part that it goes into. It just slots in there, and it gets held in from the underside here with an AP screw. Okay. AP screw is attached. We're going to be, okay, I'm going to set this piece aside. We're taking this cover and this little guy, which also has a keyhole pattern on the bottom, and that is going to go into here, secured underneath here by a BP screw. Tighten that up. And this whole kit and caboodle goes over the top of this part so that the indents all kind of line up. And then these get attached on the bottom with 2 AP screws. Okay, and then this whole manifold cover kind of a thing gets placed on going around this way and held in from behind with 4 more AP screws. last of those going in. Now we have what they're calling a breather cap. These parts like this, and they just go together like that, and are held together with 2 EP screws. Okay, tighten that up, and then this part kind of goes onto this little piece on the end here. Goes onto here, and then this gets screwed in from this side with another AP screw. Okay. I tell you, some of these parts, it seems like it would be easier if you had an extra pair of hands. I do not, unfortunately. Alright, so what we're going to do now is take the engine block as it is currently. We're going to be adding the oil pan to it, which is going to go down kind of this end, and it's going to be held in here and here with EM screws. Now this is a plastic piece, but the engine block itself is metal, so that's again going into metal. That's why we're using the M numbered screw. All right, just number 2, and then our top here is actually, for now, just going to slide over these two pins here, and it doesn't want us to attach any more to it. Alright, and the last thing we're going to do on this section is we're going to be attaching the engine mount to the other side of the engine block here, this side, using 2 DM screws. Number 2. Alright, once that's secured, we have that section, this section that we've been working on. This piece is for the next pack probably, and that's all there is to do in that stage. Alright, so in pack 8 we have an awful lot of fiddly little things. We also have a pair of tweezers, which is interesting. And we're going to be continuing on the right side of the engine block. Lots of fiddly little things here. I'm a little bit worried, so let's get to it. And looking ahead, I see what we're going to be using the tweezers for. Good Lord, all these little points and things going into the distributor cap. Anyway, alright, that should be fun. So first thing anyway, we're going to be attaching this piece onto here with the aid of 3 AP screws behind. Alright, once that's done, what they want us to do next is add this little wire junction to here, and then the cylinder head cover goes over the top of this, which holds it in place. I'm going to add, just for fun, I'm going to add just the tiniest little bit of CA glue to it. I've got these fun little applicator things. I just squirt out a little bit of CA glue and do that. But this is going to, I feel like it's going to make my life a lot easier. With any luck. Alright. And then that fits into the little notch right there. Alright, and that gets held in with some BP screws from the front, it looks like. Okay, and once that's attached, it goes onto the engine block here, and attached with 2 AP screws on this side. Okay, and once that is attached like that, we get the other part of the engine block over, and these two pins here with the holes in them correspond with these two, and this all goes together. and then it gets held in once it's together. Sorry, folks. Stand by. Alright. There we go. And it gets held in at these points here with a couple of DM screws. Alright, so basically these two first parts of the fuel pump are put together with an AP screw. That's the small little part that goes together with, there's a pin that lines up things and then a screw that goes in. Next piece are these two little guys. There is a keyhole pattern, so it goes around one way, and these two pieces are held together with an enormous FP screw. Alright, spoke too soon. These two pieces are, yes, held together with an FP screw, although it goes... Oh my goodness. Okay, so yes, these two pieces are held together with an FP screw, but this bracket is also put on, and there's a shorter pin on the one side, and that just lines up with the top of this piece here. Far too fiddly to do on camera. Alright, so this piece is going to look like this when it's all said and done. And then it is going to go over the top of this guy here. There is a keyhole pattern in here also. Alright. Finish tightening that up. Sort of. Maybe. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. That part is attached, more or less. And next thing we're going to move on to are these little guys, which is the engine coil. Sorry, you can't see that. This all just kind of pressure fits together, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll show it to you in a close-up. Okay, so we have three parts here. Little end cap, this little pin here. Fits in. I went ahead and glued this little pin in, and then this all goes onto the engine block here. There is a hole for a little pin here, and then there's... Okay, so the engine coil goes on this way around with this little point pointing out toward the distributor cap here. All right. Next thing is going to be adding the spark plugs and the distributor cap plugs, and I am not looking forward to doing that, but we'll get through it. Okay, so I've tried one. It's not quite as bad as I thought it was going to be. The idea would be to grip this with your tweezers. This end goes in to the engine block here, and it's pretty obvious all where it goes, and then you have the leverage kind of right at the bottom there to go ahead and push it in the rest of the way. So not too bad, and it doesn't really feel like you're going to need glue. These go in pretty tight. Alright, so not as bad as I was fearing. I'm going to go ahead and do the other. And the next thing we're going to do is the distributor cap plugs, which are all going to go into here, which is probably going to be sort of the same type of thing. We also have to put this little dipstick in first, so I'm going to dollop just the tiniest bit of glue. It only goes in one way. And it goes in like that. Whoop, no, it doesn't. Alright, so this goes in like this. Maybe I need my little tweezers. Find a little hole and you push it in. There we go. Alright, so that goes in like that. Now I'm going to attempt these little guys. And I think just for the sake of argument, I'm going to put all of these around this way, facing out like that, all these this way, facing out the other way, and then the top one kind of faces toward the back because we're adding a little hose to that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. So I added those 8, 9th one on top. I actually put this one, I put the hose on before I put it onto the little spindle area there, and now I'm going to attempt, see, and you wonder why. Alright, so basically this little hose goes on, one end goes on there, the other end goes on to this, like that. And it probably should not look kinked, but there you go. I can. Alright, I think that's it. First thing we're doing is attaching these 3 microscopic parts. So there's a pin and a hole to assist. These parts go together with a BP screw, and then this part goes into the slot around here with an EP screw. So let me get all that together. Getting our EP screw in. So some of these tiny screws and the bigger screwdriver seem to go together a little bit better. All right, so that's that part. Now we're going to get this guy out, and all of this is going to go into here, like that, with a GP screw. And if you don't think GP screws are tiny, this ought to be funny. Alright. Well, that went better than I expected. Okay, now we're going to be putting in the fuel inlet and choke cap. Be doing that in a minute. Okay, so the fuel inlet goes in this side, the choke cap goes in this side, and we are still using the tiny little GP screws. All right. This is this guy in. Okay, now we're going to bring over the engine block. This can only go kind of one way here. This will set down on that, like that. And then we're going to add a little bit of a wire here, and that's going to go somewhere. All right, that goes between here and here. Okay, I'm sorry, it goes between here and here, and much easier to put on with the tweezers. Okay, now working on the air filter. So this little piece goes into the slot there and is, whoops, held in with an EP screw. Like that. Then we have, all right, so that's the cover. So we have this piece, keyhole pattern, fits over help if I pull this in so you can see it, sorry. Fits over this part with the keyhole pattern. This goes on somehow. Just seeing if there's a correct way to put it on. It looks like they want you to do it off this way, like that. Then the cap goes over. There is also a little notch to go in with the other little part of the keyhole here. Like that. And then that gets held in with a DP. Must be this one. A DP screw, which is kind of a long one. And then our little cap here. Yep, there is a little tab on the one side here, which goes toward the front. That should sort of pop into place there. Very tightly. All right, and that is all there is to do, in that stage. All right, stage 10 parts. We have the alternator and the oil filter. Looks like we have some extra little parts here. Lots of screws, and let's get this set up. All right, first thing we're doing is this sort of holder plate here, which these two parts are going together with an FM screw, because these two pieces are metal. And it's kind of a bracket arm kind of a deal for the alternator, I'm going to assume. Let me just get there and in there so it's snug. Alright, now that is going to the front of the engine here with a couple of EP screws. There's just no real easy way to orient that around. So that I could see it, or you could see it, or anybody could see it. Alright. So that's the second one. Alright, bracket is in. Now, we're going to be... Alright. These two pieces go together like that. They slot in. There's really only one way to do it. This piece lines up with a little tab here. So that goes on like that. It doesn't get held together with anything yet. This goes on to our little spindly guy. And it kind of creates a like a bracket that kind of a rubber pulley is going to go around. That goes on to here, and this whole thing gets held together with one DP screw, just like that. And then there are these little points here that are going to go into the top here. These all seem to be keyhole type things. Looks like two of these maybe have a different pin that goes in, I believe. This one just has a round one. So the one with the round one looks like it goes in on the top side here, pointing off this direction. and the little keyhole ones go facing to the back. Not on camera here, sorry. These all kind of go facing toward the back. Alright. So that's all like that. Then this little L-shaped bracket goes onto the alternator here, and it's held on at that point with an EP screw. Alright, so this was attached with an EP screw 20 minutes later. This will be going onto here, kind of like this, and held in with an FM screw on this side and another EP screw on this side. Okay, next thing we're going to do is put this piece onto here, keyhole pattern toward the back, and it is going to be held in with 3 GP screws around the outside. Okay, just putting the third one in. We're leaving this hole empty for right this minute because there's something else that goes into that, and that is this little guy here, the oil filter. So what we will do is pop that into that way, pop this into this way. That gets attached with a DP screw, which is here. Let's see if I can just do this without taking 40 minutes. That's kind of why I don't bother showing screwing screws into things, because it just takes forever for me to do it. Because my hands are shaky. So then what happens with this is this goes on this part to that last area with that open area, and then this part goes up front here. Right, and I will go ahead and put that together, although we just use a BP screw on the top and we don't do anything with this one yet. Okay, and with that attached, again, we don't put any screws into this yet. There must be something else attaching to that in the next stage, but that's all there is to do in that stage, and that is that pack finished. Alright then, well, with that we have an almost completed little engine. I don't know how much detailing I'm really going to do on this. I was thinking I might kind of pick out some of the paint up some of the little bolts and different things, a different color and stuff. There's I mean, there's people that I've seen online that are going in and painting the spark plugs and the whole business. I don't know that I'm going to get that involved in that, but I might try and pick out a few little things and paint them up, and then yeah, and then we will wait for the next pack to come. So until then, and I'll look for that little piece that I lost. So until then, thanks very much. Like and follow if you'd like to follow, and I appreciate you watching very much. Thanks so much. Okay, until next time.